So guys, IRCC has just announced important details for the PGP 2023 program. The PGP program is the Parents and Grandparents program for permanent residence for your family members, that is for parents and grandparents of Canadian permanent residents and Canadian citizens. If you want to sponsor your family members for Canadian PR, including your parents and grandparents, then this video will talk about all the details that IRCC just announced for the year 2023 so that you can call your parents over on permanent residence. Please be sure to watch the video till the end. My name is Sahil. So guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice in Ontario. My office is in Canada. If you have to get in touch with us, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to speak with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of moving to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So guys, we are discussing the important family sponsorship, the parents and grandparents program for getting permanent residence for your family members, which may include your parents or grandparents. And this time, this is the year 2023, which is under discussion. Guys, let's just first briefly talk about the program. Why is it updated or changed every year? And then we will talk about what is going to happen in the year 2023. Guys, parents and grandparents, as the name suggests, is a way to give permanent residence for your parents and grandparents. If you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, you meet the income criteria for your family members, then you can invite your parents or grandparents for a Canadian permanent residence. Guys, every year historically IRCC used to change the way it used to accept applications. Sometimes it was first come first serve, sometimes it was lottery based. Every time they accepted a new format, never even once was the public at large happy, because every time they did something else and some of the groups were happy, the other group was not happy. So the last thing that happened in the year 2020 was the lottery intake. So what happened was, in the year 2020 they opened up a form saying anybody and everybody could submit an interest to sponsor their parents and grandparents, and people could submit all the applications that they wanted to, and then IRCC would cherry pick lotteries out of that particular 2020 form. So IRCC did that in 2020, then happened in 2021, 2022. This time 2023, they did not, or they are not planning to open the form again. So they did not open in 2021, not in 2022, and again 2023 they are not willing to open it again, because the applications from the first 2020 form are still pending in the pool. So there are approximately 24,200 interested potential sponsors which are still there in the pool. That means people who filled up the forms in the year 2020, they are still there. And this time IRCC is going to send out invitations to all of these potential sponsors. And the update for 2023 is that they are hoping to get at least 15,000 completed applications for permanent residence, which they will be able to process further for permanent residence. You heard that right. So this year 2023, no more interest form is going to open for new applications. That means nobody can make a fresh application. Only the people who are left over from the 2020 main form are still there in the pool. IRCC will send out invitations to these guys, and then they are expecting to get at least 15,000 complete applications, because under this particular program, lot of documentations, proof of family relations, everything is required, and so they expect to hit at least the 15,000 mark. And like I said, no more new forms are going to be opening this year, but yes, for next year for sure, because they've exhausted the whole quota in the past 3 years so far, they will go ahead and open up something new, a new criteria, a new selection criteria. Something may open in the year 2024. Guys, overall, there are some alternatives to this program as well. One alternate, because like I said, past 3 years no new sponsorships have opened, so people are really looking forward to means and methods into how can they invite their parents over, because everybody cannot wait for a PR. So there are two alternatives which I can definitely recommend, which you can use if you want to. The first alternative is calling your parents on a super visa. Guys, the important part to understand about a super visa is that it is not a permanent residence. It is only a temporary resident visa. It is just like a visitor visa, but the difference is that it is only for parents and grandparents. Minimum income requirements are supposed to be met by the sponsors, which is a child or a grandchild in Canada. And also the entry is allowed for 5 years at length. So 5 consecutive years the parent or the grandparent can stay in Canada and then extend it for further 2 years. So overall 7 years of the stay. The overall length of the visa can be issued up to 10 years or as long as the passport is valid. So yes, that is a good sign for people. But at the end of the day, the important part to understand is that it is just a visitor visa. Doesn't give you working authority, doesn't give you medical, nothing at all. It is a pure visitor visa. But especially longer visa, no need to enter exit every now and then. The second alternative that people normally want to use is something known as the humanitarian and the compassionate grounds application. Now guys, it is really important for you to understand that how this application works. By its definition, HNC or humanitarian and compassionate, the HNC application basically works only if you are not able to maintain eligibility under one of the programs of permanent residence and it is due to a particular exemption that you want. So say for example inadmissibility or not meeting the criteria or missed a particular criteria. So what IRCC does is that they've opened the stream where you can make a special request under humanitarian grounds. For example, best interest of child, or say community involvement, settlement, separation from family members. So you can use one of those motives behind the application and then you seek an exemption from a particular criteria where your parents and grandparents may not be able to meet the permanent residence the application criteria. So you would request an exemption and then submit this application. HNC overall is a low success rate application because tons of people around the globe go ahead and make an application. So people may or may not be eligible, may not have the right criteria. It's a run wild application. People can do it in their own style. There's nothing too fixed about it. So because of that, it suffers a high a negative ratio. But overall, I think for parents and grandparents, if you do it properly with the right kind of approach, best interest of child and everything, I think it is a fairly successful application if you are eligible for the same. Overall, in the year 2023, IRCC is expecting to land about 28,500 parents and grandparents for PR. Well, this is the number from the previous years, the people who finally received their permanent residences and finally will be landing in Canada. So 28,500 landed immigrants in Canada in this particular year. This number is going to go up to 36,000 people in the year 2025. So the whole picture to be noted here is that IRCC is going to increase the quota for parents and grandparents, which will be under the larger umbrella of approximately 500,000 people, which will be invited or expected to land in Canada's permanent residence in the coming years. Every year there's an immigration levels plan that comes out, so that really specifies how many people will enter under which category in what year. So this quota will get released probably in this year and then we'll know. But overall in the year 2025, so far we're looking at 36,000 parents and grandparents coming in on permanent residence. Guys, to bring in your parents from overseas into Canada on PR, two programs, PGP and HNC. And if these two are not happening due to time, constraint, money, whatsoever, the third you would want to consider is a super visa. That all of these are the options of bringing your parents into Canada on permanent residence. Guys, I hope the news was good and the alternatives provided or the solutions were also good for you. If you have any questions, feel free to schedule a consultation and we would be more than happy to speak with you, discuss your case. Until then, we wish you all the best and we really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.